In this episode, you'll discover how sugar affects inflammation, immune function, and energy, and why it can interfere with healing, even when you're doing everything else right. Welcome back to Renegade Remission. By the end of this episode, you'll understand how sugar influences multiple systems involved in healing, why cravings can feel so difficult to manage during illness, and how to begin reducing sugar in a way that supports your body rather than stressing it further. I'll give you practical ways to reduce sugar consumption without restriction, guilt, or overwhelm. Even relatively small amounts of sugar can amplify patterns that make healing more difficult, not because it is inherently harmful in all contexts, but because of the way that it interacts with the systems that govern inflammation, immune function, and energy. To understand why, we need to look at what is happening beneath the surface. The first is blood sugar instability and inflammatory signaling. When you consume sugar, especially in the absence of fiber, fat, or protein, blood glucose rises quickly. In response, the body releases insulin to bring those levels back down. This is a normal process, but when it happens repeatedly and rapidly, it creates instability. These fluctuations don't just affect our energy, they influence inflammatory signaling throughout the body. Spikes in blood glucose have been shown to increase the production of inflammatory cytokines, including interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis factor. Over time, this pattern can contribute to a more pro-inflammatory internal environment. For someone already dealing with inflammation, whether it's from chronic illness, infection, or immune dysregulation, this becomes significant. It's not just about the sugar itself, but about the repeated activation of pathways that the body is already struggling to regulate. The second thing that's important to understand is that immune function is temporarily suppressed after high sugar intake. One of the more well-documented effects of sugar is its short-term impact on immune function. Studies have shown that high intake of refined sugar can reduce the activity of certain white blood cells for several hours after consumption. So this doesn't mean that a single meal will dramatically impair immunity, but in the context of frequent intake, it creates a pattern where the immune system is repeatedly asked to function under less than optimal conditions. At the same time, sugar can contribute to shifts in the gut microbiome that further influence immune behavior. The immune system does not operate in isolation. It is constantly interacting with signals from the gut, the bloodstream, and the nervous system. When those signals are unstable, immune responses can become less efficient or more reactive. The gut microbiome plays a central role in regulating inflammation, immune function, and even mood. Diet is one of the most powerful factors influencing the composition of that microbiome. Diets high in refined sugar tend to favor the growth of certain bacteria and yeast that thrive on simple carbohydrates. Over time, this can contribute to an imbalance in the gut microbiome, often referred to as dysbiosis. This imbalance affects more than digestion. It can increase intestinal permeability, allowing substances that are normally contained within the gut to enter the bloodstream. This, in turn, can trigger immune responses and contribute to systemic inflammation. For individuals with chronic illness, where the immune system is already navigating complex signals, this added layer of disruption can make symptoms more persistent or unpredictable. Sugar also interferes with energy production and presents an illusion of quick energy. The type of energy that sugar provides is short-lived. Rapid increases in blood glucose are frequently followed by equally rapid declines, which can leave you feeling more fatigued than before. At the cellular level, this instability affects how mitochondria function. Instead of producing energy in a steady, efficient way, the body is forced into cycles of rapid availability followed by relative depletion. This pattern contributes to what many people describe as crashing, periods of low energy, brain fog, and reduced resilience. In the context of illness, where energy production is already compromised, this can be especially noticeable. One of the reasons sugar can be so difficult to reduce is that it interacts directly with the brain's reward system. It stimulates dopamine release, which reinforces the behavior and creates a sense of temporary relief or pleasure. During illness, this becomes even more relevant. Stress levels are often higher, emotional capacity is lower, and the body is looking for quick sources of comfort. Sugar can temporarily dampen stress signals, which makes it feel helpful in the moment. But over time, this creates a feedback loop. Stress increases cravings, sugar provides short-term relief, and the resulting instability contributes to more stress. Understanding this loop is important because it shifts the conversation away from willpower and towards biology and physiology. Having cravings is not a failure, it's a signal that your body is needing something. If sugar is part of your current pattern, it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong, it means your body is responding to a combination of biological and environmental inputs. What matters is to become aware of this. When you begin to see how sugar interacts with inflammation, immunity, the gut microbiome, and energy, you can make changes that are intentional. And those changes, even if they're small, can begin to shift the internal environment your body is working within. A helpful place to begin is not by trying to eliminate sugar entirely, but by stabilizing the context in which you consume it. Eating balanced meals that include protein, fat, and fiber can significantly reduce blood sugar spikes and create a more stable energy pattern throughout the day. You can also start to notice when cravings arise and what is happening around them. Are they tied to stress, fatigue, or long gaps between meals? Identifying the pattern often reveals a more effective place to intervene. Incorporating foods that naturally support satiety, such as healthy fats and protein, can reduce the intensity of cravings without creating a sense of restriction. It can also be helpful to reduce the most concentrated sources of sugar first. Sugary beverages, processed snacks, and refined desserts tend to have the most immediate impact on blood glucose, offer the least nutrition, and are the easiest place to begin making changes. Finally, give your body time to adjust. As blood sugar becomes more stable, many people notice that cravings begin to decrease naturally. This can take several weeks and even a month. It's not something you have to force, but your body will move towards it when the conditions support it. Your body is always working to find balance, and when you begin to support that process even in simple ways, the effects can extend further than you might expect. In upcoming episodes, we'll continue to discuss why sugar feels so hard to quit during illness and how to reduce it in your diet, as well as other nutrition and lifestyle changes that can influence your healing. So stay tuned for those episodes, and as always, go be renegades.